Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
If you don't remember the story of Namaan, read 2 Kings 5 today. It's a beautiful story about a Syrian army commander who sought out the prophet Elisha to receive healing of a horrible disease called leprosy. But Naaman's not the person I want to talk about today. The person who stood out to me in this story was a little girl, a Jewish slave, who the Syrians had captured from her home in Israel. Instead of considering her captors her enemies, hating them, and wishing them evil, she was the one who pointed Namaan to the place he could go for healing. She worked for Naaman's wife. Seeing Naaman's condition, she said to her mistress, "If only my master would see the prophet who's in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." Then, on the word of a little slave girl, Naaman traveled to find Elisha. He'd had to been grasping at straws. After all, leprosy was an incurable disease. But he went, bringing with him a letter from the king of Syria to the king of Israel, and quite an extensive array of gifts. This little girl must have sounded pretty convincing. She was so sure Elisha and his God could heal her master that he decided to give it a try. Everyone in this world, at one time or another, was like Naaman. We all have a disease called sin that's eating away at us, that's incurable, humanly speaking. And we only have one hope of spiritual health and life, and that's Jesus. If we've been cured from this disease and saved from sin, we ought to be like Naaman's little slave girl. When we see someone being eaten up by sin, we should desire for them to be cured, to find new life in Christ. It doesn't matter who that person is, whether it's our best friend or our worst enemy. Our immediate desire upon seeing that person suffering from the disease of sin should be to point them toward Jesus, to show them where they can get cleansing and renewal, full, abundant life. We have that knowledge and they don't. They need to know, or they'll die in their sin. Naaman would have if that slave girl hadn't spoken up. I find it interesting she didn't have to do much. Just say one faith-filled, loving statement, and God did the rest. She didn't have to drag him to Elisha's doorstep. She just had to give him hope and point the way. Often that's all we have to do too. As a result of this little maid's information, not only was Naaman cured of leprosy, but he declared, "I know that there's no God in all the earth but in Israel." And he returned from Israel with 2 mules' load worth of Israel's dirt and a promise that he would never worship any god but Yahweh. Naaman returned not only with physical healing, but with spiritual healing. That's what we can expect from those that we have an opportunity to point to Jesus. He cleanses them, heart and soul. Who in your life needs to know about this miracle worker who can cleanse them? Who will you point to Jesus today?
As always, we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to share a treasure, support this ministry, or get Carla to speak at an event, please contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.